In this video, we're going to take a look at the Platinum 3776. So let's jump straight to the end with my thoughts on the pen. This pen often is people's first gold nib, and it's a good pen to get, especially as that first gold nib. This is one of those rare pens that people don't have a lot bad to say about it. The only people who tend to not really love this pen are ones that want a larger pen. Otherwise, the range of nibs, which are always good with just a little bit of feedback, which is how I like them, it's a great price mark. Now, the only difficulty we really deal with here in America is the prices put on it for buying domestically. You can purchase this through Japanese sellers and would get a significant savings to where it is, an $80 pen then, or almost half what it costs from a retailer. That really puts a stranglehold on the retailers here. I find it comfortable without posting, which is nice because I don't tend to do that. What an amazing pen. Probably the reason I own a number of them with different nibs. Now that we know how I feel about the Platinum 3776, let's see how I got to that opinion, starting with the unboxing. The Platinum 3776 comes in a box like this, which holds a box like this. The box for this one and all of those Platinum 3776, it's standard fare. It's a perfectly good box. It does great in what it's supposed to do. Probably one of the nicest things is it's not so oversized that during storage it creates any kind of an issue for you. With the pen out of the box, we need to get to the nib. And as long as it doesn't take 20 turns to uncap a pen, I'm generally okay. But how many turns does it take to uncap this pen? The Platinum 3776 takes 1 3/4 turn to uncap. It uncaps fast enough, but despite the uncapping, the most important thing about this pen is actually its slip and seal mechanism. It manages to stay writable for up to 2 years. At least that's what their claim is. And I hope to be one day putting out the video testing that claim. But I do like how the slip and feel feels nice and secure when you do close it. This gets us to the nib. This pen has a gold music nib on it. A standout feature on this nib is its heart-shaped breather hole that I'm a sucker for, given my last name. It does look really good, and it's an interesting design point that has it stand out visually compared to most of the nibs on the market. And they're fantastic to write with. Now, let's ink this pen up. The Platinum 3776 is a proprietary cartridge or converter system and holds approximately 0.8 milliliters of ink. The ink for today is Diamine's Skull and Roses. While it uses a proprietary converter, I'm a fan of proprietary converters, especially ones that disassemble easy, like this one, so that if it starts to run a little slow, it's easy to grease. And this one is. Love their converters. They probably have some of the best converters out there. As a habit, I don't normally post my pens, but some people prefer to post their pens, and some pens need to be posted in order to be used comfortably. This pen, it can post. It is just large enough for me to be able to use it without posting, But you can post it. It posts securely. It doesn't make it too weird to look at. It is a really very nice sized pen. If you enjoy videos like this, then be sure to hit the subscribe button. Now, the important part, the writing sample. While writing, I find it large enough to be able to write without posting, and it doesn't bother me. It doesn't get stuck in the crook of my hand. I get no kind of hand fatigue, although it is a very light pen, and I kind of wish it was a little bit heavier. That's not ultimately a problem, that's a user choice. I like a little bit of weight with a pen, not heavy, but a little bit of weight. This is a very light pen. It does make it nice when you have it in your shirt pocket for an entire day, that it doesn't drag down on a very light shirt, like if you wear Hawaiian shirts, for instance. It doesn't drag that pocket down and misshape some of that fabric. Gonna write great. It's such a joy. Did I say that this writes nice? I'm gonna say that it writes nice. Back to the writing. Every now and then, one of my pens will sing. I have one singing nib with platinums. Or I should say one of my platinums is a singing nib. And every time it comes up in a rotation, it does make me smile. People will look over and they hear it. Now, I see this very classic look of this pen really fits in anywhere, so it's not a standout ostentatious, that's the word, type pen. Very conservative, very Japanese for that. I love it. I love it enough to have a few. Have I mentioned I like the writing experience? Now for something a bit more standard in comparing writing size. I use Namiki Blue to do this, and here's how it compares to a Yovo Extra Fine on the left, a medium in the middle, and a 1.1 stub on the right. You can get this pen with two different finishes essentially, where most of mine are black, but by the finish I mean you can get a gold finish or you can get the silver finish. And I tend to prefer the gold finish, while this one has the silver finish. I like it too. I got it this way because I didn't have one like this, but I would say that without a doubt I go for the gold finish. I think it's very classic. So how does this nib compare to other nibs I've used? Looking at the writing of a Platinum 3776 with a soft fine nib, here it is next to the Sailor Pro Gear Slim with a fine nib, the Sailor 1911 Ringless with a fine nib, and a Pilot Metropolitan also with a fine nib. I'm going to say that one of the advantages of this pen over many other gold pens, and I'm going to come back to its price. If you have a mishap with this pen, while it's not nothing, you can replace the pen at a relatively fair price. Unfortunately, you can't get replacement nibs, but the pens are not super expensive. So it isn't a review without some size comparison. Here it is capped, here it is uncapped, and here it is posted. As a side note about the slip and seal mechanism for this pen, I actually did a test that was 2.5 years long where I went to see, does it really last? And I wanted to test it with more than just their ink. So we have that to look forward to in an upcoming video. Let's clean this pen now that it's dirty. Be sure to check out the next pen review when we take a look at the Lamy 2000. If you want to be able to support not just my channel, but any reviewer, then when you make a purchase, be sure to tell that retailer where you heard about it. Thanks for watching.